Have you ever wondered why some people seem destined to live great loves while others face turbulent relationships repeatedly? Why certain souls find partners who elevate them to the heavens of happiness, while others find themselves trapped in unions that resemble spiritual battlefields? The answer, my dear seeker of truth, does not lie in cruel chance or the capricious luck of the gods, but in an invisible law that governs all encounters of the human heart. There exists an ancestral secret whispered by illuminated masters throughout the centuries, which reveals how marriage is not the work of blind destiny, but the most faithful mirror of your accumulated karma. Every person you attract into your love life, every shared joy, every tear shed, every moment of ecstasy or despair, all of this is a direct reflection of the energies your soul has cultivated throughout entire existences. Today, you will discover truths that will forever transform your understanding of love, relationships, and destiny. Prepare yourself for a journey that will not only explain why you live the love you live, but will reveal how you can consciously shape the future of your relationships through the highest spiritual wisdom that has ever flourished in human consciousness. In the sacred scriptures of the East, we find a truth that revolutionizes our understanding of human unions. You only marry someone whose field of blessings is in perfect balance with yours. This is not mere poetic philosophy, but cosmic law as precise as the gravity that keeps planets in their celestial orbits. Marriage, far from being a romantic accident or personal conquest, reveals itself as a direct manifestation of the karma your soul has accumulated through actions, thoughts, and intentions cultivated over time. When two people unite in matrimony, they are not merely joining bodies, dreams, or patrimony. They are fusing vibrational fields that have been woven by the quality of consciousness each one has developed. If your blessings are elevated, fruit of virtues practiced, kindness offered, and unconditional love radiated, you magnetize partners who reflect this same spiritual elevation. But if your karmic baggage carries the weight of selfishness, negligence, or unhealed wounds, you will inevitably attract relationships that mirror exactly these patterns. What few perceive is that this law operates with absolute mathematical precision. A heart that cultivates gratitude, generosity, and inner fidelity cannot, by cosmic force, permanently unite with someone who vibrates in frequencies of ingratitude, pettiness, or betrayal. The transformative question ceases to be, "Why did I marry this person?" and becomes, "What energies have I cultivated to attract exactly this loving experience?" But here is the point that almost no one dares consider. If you wish to transform the quality of your future relationships, you must begin by transforming the quality of your own soul today. There exists an invisible cosmic dance happening behind the scenes of reality, where souls that have shared experiences in past lives are magnetically attracted to each other to complete unfinished lessons, settle pending debts, or celebrate bonds of love built through the centuries. When you feel that inexplicable connection with someone, that instantaneous recognition that transcends logic, you are experiencing the echo of ancient relationships reverberating in the present. Karmic connections reappear with specific purposes. Support and loyalties cultivated in other existences tend to flourish as serene and lasting loves, while unhealed wounds and emotional debts return as golden opportunities for repair and mutual evolution. Time also obeys karmic wisdom. Remaining single may mean that your soulmate is still maturing their lessons elsewhere in the world, or that you need to complete internal aspects before the sacred encounter. But what if I reveal to you that even the timing of your relationships is carefully orchestrated by the cosmos? That love that came too early may have appeared to teach you about patience. The one that came too late may have come to show you the value of conscious waiting. Every missed connection is, in truth, a perfect encounter with the lessons your soul needs to learn. Marriage functions as karmic addition. When two people unite, their fields of blessings combine, creating a new vibrational reality. Elevated blessings generate mutual respect, natural cooperation, and domestic peace. Heavy karmic loads tend to erupt as recurring conflicts, destructive jealousy, and trials that test the spiritual fiber of both. The secret you are about to discover will completely change your approach to love. In the invisible dimensions of existence, there exists a currency more valuable than gold or diamonds. These are the blessings accumulated through virtues practiced, compassion offered, and purity of intentions maintained, even when no one is watching. This spiritual wealth determines not only what type of partner you attract, but what quality of love you can sustain over the years. Souls rich in blessings radiate a silent but powerfully attractive magnetism. They inspire natural trust, awaken the desire to protect and nurture, create atmosphere where love flourishes spontaneously. When two such people meet, the relationship develops unmistakable characteristics: effortless, reciprocal care, honest communication that resolves conflicts before they become wounds, joint growth that strengthens both instead of creating competition. But observe with what precision the law operates in reverse. Hearts impoverished of virtues attract relationships marked by constant distrust, corrosive jealousy, disputes that drain vital energy from both partners. There exists an ancient spiritual maxim that whispers, "A person with great inner fortune never permanently enters a home devoid of spiritual fortune." This truth invites you to look less at the partner's defects and more at your own inner cultivation. What few understand is that unbalanced relationships function as implacable mirrors, reflecting aspects of our consciousness that need to be purified. Pride disguised as reason, ingratitude masked as demand, possessive attachment disguised as love. And here is the revelation that will transform your love life forever. Consciously working on your own spiritual merit is not cosmic utilitarianism, but polishing of the heart to become a worthy receptacle of true love. There exists a cosmic justice operating in human relationships that transcends our limited understanding of right and wrong. When you find yourself involved in a relationship that oscillates between intense love and equally intense pain, you may be facing a sacred opportunity to settle effective debts accumulated in other existences. That betrayal that breaks your heart, that suffocating control that limits your freedom, that negligence that wounds your soul, may be echoes of patterns you yourself created in other lives and now return asking for conscious repair. But listen carefully to this truth that few masters reveal. Not every relationship is karmic punishment. Many challenging unions are spiritual curricula, carefully designed to develop virtues dormant in your soul. Patience, where there was irritability; self-love, where emotional dependency dwelt; courage, where destructive submission predominated. The difficult partner may be a divine instrument that dismantles romantic illusions and demands authentic emotional maturity from you. The healing of these relational wounds requires transcending victim mentality and embracing conscious spiritual responsibility. Instead of asking, "Why did he do this to me?" or "Why doesn't she love me as I deserve?" Liob awakened soul's question. What lesson is this experience offering me? And how can I use this pain to develop wisdom and compassion? There exists, however, a delicate point that requires sharp discernment. There are moments when leaving is part of the karmic lesson. Recognizing healthy limits, affirming personal dignity, and ending abusive patterns may be the most loving act you offer, both to yourself and to your partner. But how to know when to resist and when to liberate yourself? The answer lies in the next revelation. In the subtle dimensions where loving destinies are woven, there exist invisible forces that systematically corrode accumulated blessings, gradually impoverishing the energetic field that sustains healthy relationships. Greed disguised as practicality, dishonesty camouflaged as white lies, selfishness disguised as self-preservation. These subtle poisons contaminate the atmosphere of the home, even when expressed through apparently harmless habits. Ingratitude reveals itself as one of the most potent destroyers of love. When we stop valuing our partner's daily gestures, when we take silent sacrifices for granted, when we focus only on what's missing instead of celebrating what we have, we create barren ground where even the most precious seeds of affection wither and die. What few perceive is that this blindness to present blessings gradually closes our hearts to receiving future love. But there exists an even more subtle poison, carrying rancor from past relationships, blaming former partners for one's own unhealed patterns, mentally reliving old offenses as a way to justify present distrust. This practice keeps vital energy trapped in the past, preventing it from flowing freely to nourish current love. Every time you lament, "Men are like this," or "Women always do this," you are programming your consciousness to attract exactly the experiences that will confirm these limiting judgments. Betrayals, broken promises, and emotional manipulations create heavy karmic liabilities that require not only sincere repentance, but concrete reparation through transformative actions. And here is the point that almost no one dares consider. Restoration begins not with grand dramatic gestures, but with small daily acts of genuine kindness, practical loyalty, and a heart truly willing to serve instead of only receiving. There exists a hidden wisdom operating in the most challenging relationships that our limited mind can rarely perceive in the moment of pain. That partner who tests your patience to the limits of mental sanity may be the most precise instrument for developing inner equanimity. That person who awakens your worst jealousy may be teaching you about detachment and trust. That love that demands immense sacrifices may be training your capacity to love unconditionally. When we begin to see difficult relationships as spiritual academies where our soul strengthens, the entire inner dynamic transforms. The question ceases to be how to make my partner change, and becomes what virtue is this situation inviting me to embody now? This shift in perspective dissolves automatic resentments and opens space for wiser choices, more compassionate, more aligned with our spiritual growth. But listen to this truth that few masters reveal: not all relational suffering should be endured indefinitely in the name of spiritual growth. There exists a subtle but crucial difference between challenging relationships that strengthen us and abusive situations that destroy us. Genuinely awakened souls develop discernment to recognize when the lesson requires remaining and transforming, and when it asks for courage to leave and preserve one's integrity. The key lies in observing whether the challenge is generating genuine virtues in your consciousness or merely feeding destructive patterns. If you are developing real patience, authentic compassion, and applied wisdom, continue investing in joint growth. But if you are only becoming more embittered, distrustful, or diminished in your capacity to love, it may be time to seek different paths. The next secret will reveal how to magnetize more elevated loving experiences. The question that echoes in the hearts of millions of solitary souls, "Where is my soulmate, Ialpreik?" reveals fundamental misunderstanding about how magnetic attraction works on the spiritual plane. The truly transformative question is, am I becoming someone worthy of the love I wish to receive? This shift of focus from external search to internal cultivation unleashes powerful alchemy that transforms not only whom you attract, but what quality of love you can sustain. There exists an implacable cosmic law operating in relationships, like attracts like, with absolute mathematical precision. Those who cultivate genuine affection in all their relationships magnetize naturally affectionate partners. Those who practice honesty, even when inconvenient, attract people of integrity. Those who develop inner and outer prosperity become magnets for relationships abundant in all aspects. The partner who comes to you will always be a faithful reflection of your dominant vibration and your most ingrained emotional habits. Consciously investing in your own character, emotional stability, and clarity about your life mission functions as expansion of your magnetic field for more integral and lasting encounters. When you become a person who practices the virtues you wish to find, you develop irresistible inner radiation for souls vibrating at the same elevated frequency. But here is the secret that few dare accept. The love that comes to you rarely surpasses in quality the love you already practice with yourself and with the world around you. If you treat yourself harshly, you will be attractive to people who will also be harsh with you. If you emotionally neglect yourself, you will magnetize negligent partners. External transformation always begins with inner revolution. There exists a subtle but devastating phenomenon happening in the hearts of millions of people. Hearts still tied to ancient sorrows, automatically close to healthy bonds in the present. Each unhealed wound functions as an invisible lock that prevents new love from entering. Each unreleased resentment becomes a filter through which we interpret all future romantic experiences. The result is that even when wonderful people appear in our lives, our contaminated perception sees them through the lens of painful past. Generalized negative beliefs about men or women transform into self-fulfilling prophecies, magnetically attracting experiences that confirm exactly what we fear. When you whisper internally how men always betray or women only want money, you're programming your consciousness to perceive only evidence that sustains these judgments, completely ignoring signs of integrity and genuine love around you. The fear of suffering, again, creates extremely subtle self-sabotage mechanisms. Promising relationships are pushed away before they deepen. Constant loyalty tests become suffocating routine. Invisible protective walls prevent true intimacy. Your mind, trying to protect you from future pain, ends up creating exactly the solitude it most fears experiencing. Liberation from this emotional prison requires specific healing practices. Daily meditation to quiet inner storms, true forgiveness, not as a favor to others, but as a gift to yourself. Liberation letters written but never sent. Active compassion for your own wounded past. And here is the golden key. Opening your chest to the new requires consciously renouncing control through fear and choosing disciplined trust as a lifestyle. In the invisible dimensions where loving destinies are woven, each compassionate action functions as an investment that multiplies future blessings, creating irresistible magnetic field for elevated relationships. True love strengthens not through romantic declarations or expensive gifts, but through concrete and consistent acts of kindness, service, and care, both directed at current partner and generously offered to the world. When you help strangers without expecting recognition, you are cultivating spiritual merit that returns as protection and harmony in your love life. But there exists an even more subtle power operating. Your words create reality with frightening precision. The mouth sustains the destiny of relationships through the energetic quality of what you choose to express. Avoiding gossip about others, marriages, resisting the temptation of constant lamentations, abstaining from acid speech about relationships preserves the purity of the energetic field that surrounds your own love life. Each word of destructive criticism drains blessings. Each expression of gratitude and appreciation multiplies harmony. Sincere prayers, elevated mantras, or humble prayers for your marriage, current or future function, as antennas that align your consciousness with superior frequencies of love, gradually educating the mind to perceive blessings instead of fixating on deficiencies. Authentic generosity and purity of intentions create silent but powerfully recognizable magnetism for people vibrating in the same elevated consciousness range. A simple, constant, and genuinely practiced spiritual routine becomes the foundation that sustains relational harmony even when passions oscillate and challenges test the union. What few perceive is that lasting marriages are maintained not by fluctuating feelings, but by spiritual practices that anchor the relationship in more stable dimensions than temporary emotions. We have reached the sacred moment of transformative synthesis, where knowledge must flourish into lived wisdom and understanding must manifest as inner revolution. If you have truly absorbed the revelations of this journey, you now understand that marriage functions as an implacable mirror of your accumulated karma. To transform the quality of your future relationships, you must begin today consciously cultivating the blessings that will sustain them. When relational crises arise, and they will arise, for they are part of every soul's evolutionary curriculum, instead of fixating only on pain or blaming external circumstances, turn inward and question with sincerity. What lesson is being offered here? How can I use this experience to develop higher virtues? This shift in perspective transforms even the most painful situations into golden opportunities for spiritual growth. Loving well reveals itself as trainable competence through conscious posture, practiced virtues, and daily choices aligned with elevated principles. Your individual transformation creates waves that naturally spread to the union, realigning destinies, healing homes, and elevating entire generations. Mature love does not depend on luck or chance, but on applied wisdom and constant spiritual dedication. Dear seeker of truth, if these revelations have touched the deepest strings of your soul, become a bearer of this light for other hearts still suffering in the darkness of loving misunderstanding. Leave your like so that more thirsting souls may find these liberating truths. Subscribe to this channel to continue receiving wisdom that transforms destinies. Share this video with those you know need to understand the sacred mystery of conscious relationships. May divine love flow through all your relationships like a sacred river that purifies and blesses all it touches. May you always be a magnet for elevated union and an instrument of healing for all hearts around you. Until the next video.